Hello, operators. Welcome to the channel. So, we're playing Blackhawk Rescue Mission 5, and today I will be giving you a tutorial on how to play that game. You're only going to have one of these loadouts. It's going to be named Loadout 1, and you're going to look like this. Before we start the game, you will notice that you do start with money, not the same amount as me, because I have been playing this game, but $2,000. With that $2,000, we're going to go to Loadout. And on your loadout, you're going to notice that there's squares. There's a couple of squares all about your body. You're going to click the one on your character's left hand, or if you want to say your right. And you're going to notice that you have a little M16A2 rifle here. This is not what we're looking for though, as we are going to either scroll down, or we could use the filter. Go to, I believe it's assault rifles, although it could be a carbine. Yeah, assault rifles. And you see I just passed it here. You'll see these two right here, the M4A1 and the Mark 18. Two very viable options. Now, I personally recommend using the Mark 18. It is just slightly better than the M4A1. So we're going to go to our Mark 18, and you're going to notice this gun looks a little weird. It's missing something. So, you do still have a little money, I believe $1,200 after buying the Mark 18. You're going to select this top rail here, and you're just going to scroll all the way down, or you can choose a filter for the primary optics, and you're just going to scroll down till you find the SU-231 APEC. I recommend this as a starter optic as well as a high-end optic. So, SU-321 APEC, we call this the Holocyan, or the EOTech. So you'll notice, when you place it, it'll be like probably here, and if you click the square, you can move it. This is what comes all with the customization with the guns. Now, before we start, one more thing I want to recommend is going underneath the handguard here, the bottom, and you're going to notice a bunch of different attachments are going to appear. The very first vertical foregrip, the BGEV Mark 46, is the foregrip I personally recommend. It's $81 and is very effective. In terms of customization, only one customization really matters, which is night vision. And what you can do is just, with your default helmet, you can get the Rhino. Now this one's completely free, so that's what you would want to go for free. And the Rhino mount here, and the PVSD. There you go. It's complete. I didn't even know it was free. So there you go. You have completely free night vision, and you don't even have to even worry about it. So if you end up in a situation where it's nighttime, you'll actually have night vision. Once we've got this down, we're going to go back to play. We're going to be slightly changed here. You can go to open world if you want to play with your friends, if you want them to join you after, or you can click custom game, and up here in the top right, you can host a personal private server, of which contains 5 people. We're going to launch this way because it's a little more discreet whenever playing this game. You're going to see this map. Now obviously there's nothing we really want to mess with right now, but if you need to, you can go to options, keybinds, change your keybinds if you need to, or just look at them so you can study them. Your options, if you're on a lower end computer, I would recommend turning your graphics down. For lower end PCs, I do recommend these all to be low. Do not leave your render distance to auto. This is something you want to do beforehand. If you have a higher end PC, you actually want to set this to high. It will be on auto, and you won't be able to see as far. Cinematic lights, tree shaking, and water movement aren't super resourceful, but if you're on a lower end computer, I do recommend taking them off. Another thing is, some cinematic lights will cause disruption for people who have sensitive eyes. Do make sure you turn this off. So, we'll return to deploy here, and if you're playing on the private server, you'll only see the square. If you're playing public, you might see a couple squares about here, but all we want is to deploy here. Once deployed, oh, okay, a little bit of lag. Once deployed, there's gonna be a little bit of lag. You're gonna be in third person. Your scroll wheel will change it in case you're not familiar with Roblox's third person system. This one will always have your head looking in the direction as long as your not basically being broken. So, coming out of the fob, you want to bring yourself to the vehicle request platform. There's one here, there's one there. They kind of just surround this area amongst all of these tarps. We're going to go in first person. We're going to click F. Now, it's not going to look like this, but rather there's going to be nothing here. Now, I can't sell everything to show you how that's going to look because it'll be wasting my money. However, since this is empty, you won't have any vehicles. But what you can do is go to purchase vehicle, and you'll just scroll down all the way to the bottom to the 4x4. This is what I recommend. Actually, this isn't even what I recommend. This is what you'll have to start with. But this is what I recommend for new players regardless. You're going to click order, and you're just going to purchase it as it comes. You can change the camo to desert if you like, although there are no deserts. And once you've purchased it, it'll be in your vehicle request portal here. So, we're going to spawn it, and now you have a vehicle. And you might think, oh, this is where we get to the action. No, not yet. Next thing you want to do is, since you're here, you're going to go to the armory. You're going to notice this pulls up an inventory system. There's one other way we can do this. One thing to note is, if you want to get out of the screen, you do have to press F again. Your inventory can be accessed by pressing G, as shown here at the bottom. You are able to take off your uniforms, your helmet, your weapon, and so forth. Although this is not very useful, as you're not going to need to be removed. So, opening the armory, you'll notice you have inventory. Now, I personally like to arrange my inventory in a certain way. Now, whenever you start this game, I recommend having 6 primary magazines and 2 secondary. I personally like having it organized like this. Next thing you want to do is go to medical. Medical is where you're going to get your bandages and dressings. This is how you're going to deal with difficult situations whenever you start getting shot. So, what I recommend is having an equal amount of bandages and dressings. I like to count it by 5s or 10s. As you can see, we were just one short of the bandages, but you do always want more bandages than dressings if you don't have an equal amount. So, next thing you're going to do is, once you're full on your medical supplies and you have the proper amount of ammo, you're then going to get into your vehicle. Now, 2 things to note. Your vehicle's not going to be on, but if you press W, you'll turn it on and you'll automatically start driving. Another thing is, when you hold tab, you'll see that there's a vehicle menu. You actually turn the engine off. So, we're going to leave the engine on though, and not turn on the parking brake. And we're going to drive out of here. Another thing to note is, if you press spacebar, it'll actually engage a handbrake. As you can see, we're not driving max speed, and then we're driving max speed. One thing useful that you can use this handbrake for is drifting, if you want to, say, impress your friends. So, coming out of the base, you're going to come to the right here, and you're just going to proceed down this road. You can drive in first person, and it does have its own little thing. You're going to come to the right off into this dirt patch, and you... Oh, alright. So, we're going to have to go down here real quick. I meant to stop at the top of this hill, and I did not. So we're going to stop here. Typically, you want to stop at the top of this hill and wait until you're sure that you're safe. As you can see, we are not. So, with weapon ballistics, V is how you change your fire mode. So as you can see, you have 2 bullets and 1 bullet in the bottom right here. The 2 is full auto, the 1 is semi. So what we'll do is we'll just set it to semi, and we'll just kill all the guys at this little checkpoint here. As you see, I'm getting bonuses for both headshots and stealth. Regular kills will only give you a certain amount of money, so headshots give you more. And, as you can see, we're not spotted yet, so we're also getting a stealth bonus. One thing to note is that since you're using the 4x4, it actually takes advantage of having 4-wheel drive, and you can actually get up mountains like this from almost a completely stable stance. So what we'll do is, if you do end up in this situation where you accidentally drove past this, you can just drive right back up here. You do want to try and maintain stealth though, because being spotted, means there's going to be a lot of bullets coming your way, and if you're playing by yourself, that's not going to be fun. So after that outpost there, oh, it's a little bumpy. I'm going to proceed to this next outpost, which will be right up here, and you can just use third person to see, yeah, it's safe. Now, I personally recommend just driving right here, and this is where you're going to leave your vehicle. And if you wanted to, for instance, you turn it off and put your parking brake on so it doesn't go anywhere. So now we're starting combat. One thing to note is that mantling exists in the Gen 4 of BRM. So, I personally play in first person. If you wanted to, you can play in third person. To each their own. But what we're just going to do, and we're being detected. So there's a good example of the detection meter. And it's that sniper over there. That's kind of annoying. Anyways, you can see whenever you start getting detected, a little question mark will appear above the enemy that's detecting his head. Going crouch or prone will make it a lot harder for them to detect you or even make you undetectable. And you see this guy up in the watchtower is kind of being a pain in my butt, so we're just going to go into third person, aim our crosshair relatively over him. As a matter of fact, yeah, that's going to be a lot harder of a shot. Never mind. We'll work our way towards it. It's a lot harder to get that guy than most guys. So, let's start here. We'll have to go prone. And we'll just aim at the guy and shoot him in the head. Same with this guy. So you see I still got stealth, but I didn't get a headshot. He did shoot back for a moment, but they didn't detect me. Now, whenever you're playing this, whether it's stealth or not, I recommend going this route right here. This is the optimal route to play Kozlovka. You'll just go down this left lane, get a couple kills here and there. You notice that it's a 1v30. You might think, well, that's impossible to win if you alert them. So, going back to the mantling, if you jump up here, you can actually mantle over this fence. And this will actually be useful because you don't have to run along all these buildings here. You'll just jump over the fence here, go to the top of this hill, and do expect there to be an enemy. Sometimes he spawns there, sometimes he spawns over here. We're just going to shoot him in the head, and we're going to go on with our day. So, in the top left, you can see that there are objectives. One of them is planting this explosive. You'll have 13 seconds, relatively, in order to plant it. And there's another guy that will sometimes be found over here, but not all the time. And once it explodes, it will not alert the convoy, but it will destroy that. So now what we're going to do is we're going to proceed through the city, or town. I'm sorry if I'm a little rusty with pronouncing the name. This used to be called El Chara, and it used to be a desert. That's just because I've been here for a good few years. The spotting's still a little spotty, so there we go. Another guy through a door here. If you see him through that door, try and hit him in the arms, the head, whatever you do. So two things you can do. You can kick the door, or you can pick the lock. And I believe this door right here will be locked, so I'll show you how you pick a lock. You'll just left mouse button whenever your thing gets in the middle there. You can do it back and forth. It's fairly simple, although it takes more time and you have a higher chance of getting shot. You see, we can get spotted through the windows, so we do want to be careful. Something else to be aware of is that the second floor doesn't have any working doors. It does have a door here, but this little wooden handle means that it's not a real door. You see, the real doors will have silver handles like this, and sometimes be locked. So. Oh, we got it on our first try. What you do? So another thing to note about this area is if you're doing close quarters combat, you can press your middle mouse button. You'll notice that our screen kind of changes when we press it, and something appears on the bottom right. And that's actually an indicator next to our ammo counter. So that indicator is actually telling you where your gun's sitting. So you can have low stance, high stance, or whatnot, or kind of in between. You know, if you proceed through these buildings, you can actually be in high stand and an ADS coming through the door like that. Fairly simple to use, and you can press middle mouse button to get out of it. So as you can see, the sniper is still provoking us, so we're just going to aim at his head and try and kill him real quick. There we go, and we got him. It'll be a lot more difficult for you to take him out with an unmagnified optic. And I personally don't recommend it, but as you saw, I was able to do it, so are you. Whoa, okay. I don't know how I missed that guy. You see, it's getting a lot higher the more shots I shoot because I'm not using a suppressor. There we go, another headshot. And see, we have 4 bullets left, so we're just going to reload. And continue with these headshots. You see, if I go prone over here, it's a lot harder for them to detect me because we're far away. If I shoot at them, they'll know I'm shooting back at them, and they'll fire, give me a couple shots back to know that, to remind me of that. If you press M, you'll notice that there's a map here. Not exactly the same map, but very similar. As you can see, there's a kill target, and they're very close to me. We're going to press V as in vector, and just continue through these rooms. As you can see, there's a couple of fake doors. There's a real door over there. Now, how do you find this target? You ask, the VIP target? Well, it's actually fairly simple. You're going to go to the top floor of this building, and right before the next set of stairs, you're going to open the door here. You're going to see it's locked. Kick it in, and there's a couple of guys right here. Careful of guys with knives, because they are very dangerous. And now that we're hurt, I can actually finally show you how to use medical, which will be just holding tab, going in the medical tab, using your dressing, and then your bandage, like so. Fairly simple, not hard to understand. Another thing is, remember that switching to your other weapon is always faster than reloading. As you saw, I ran out of ammo, I immediately pressed 2 and used my secondary. And got a very simple kill. Now that there's less than 15 enemies left, you'll notice that remaining enemies are now visible on the map. And what we'll do is, we'll get to the roof here. Notice I'll swap my weapon back to semi-automatic. And we'll just crouch, we'll press M. We'll see that there's a guy in here. There's a bunch of guys all out through here. So there's still 15 enemies, or 14 enemies, right? It is possible you can snipe them from the roof here. Like this guy way out here. So you can actually see a guy way out there. Another guy right here. So you see I'm using the third person advantage. You see, we're still remaining stealth. They are shooting at me, but they haven't alerted anyone that, you know, they're shooting at me. They haven't alerted anyone in my position. And that's good. We don't want them to know where my position is. The faster you kill them, the better. But what we'll do is we're just going to go all the way back down to the bottom. As you can see, there is one more guy here, so, you know, we can check the doors, like right here. This might actually be where he's at. Right? Yeah, he's somewhere here. One of these floors. We know he's in this back side of the floor, so we can just check all of these doors, right? So that one is a wooden door, so we don't have to check it. We already checked this door, and we're just gonna keep going down. It's very highly possible for most of the guys to spawn on the first floor. So do keep that in mind. Normally you won't find them in these rooms, you'll find them on the first floor. And as you can see, that's not all where to spawn. Am I confused? Okay, maybe I'm a little confused, but is he stuck in one of the spawns? He might be in one of the spawn points and we missed him. Sometimes they'll spawn in this closet. You'll have to crawl through it. And we'll just continue looking for this guy's room. It is clear that he is in one of these spawn spots. And there you go. So you will have to check these doors sometimes. They'll be in these spawn spots. That's what those wooden doors are for. They normally will come out of those wooden doors whenever they spawn. Sometimes they don't. And in the situations they don't, you'll find them on the map like this. And so we'll continue. Clear out the rest of these enemies. Auto here. As you see, kicking the door down is actually why they detected me so quick. But that's alright. We're fine with that because we were able to get the door open faster than they were able to react. See, just opening the door like that, they don't have the time to react. They're just like wondering, hey, why is my door open? Whereas when we kick it down, they're like, oh no, someone's breaking in, we need to stop them. So you can see there's a silhouette in the window, we'll just take a pop shot. That's the guy that was shooting at us earlier. So now that he's dead, we're going to proceed up to the building. And someone's trying to detect us, we're just going to go prone, there we go. Is it possible a guy to our left? Yeah, that's who is detecting us. There we go, another kill. You need to be aware of where you're getting spotted from. So the person does come in a lot of handy now. As well as it does make you a little more accurate at times in certain situations. You know, in the back left of the house and the back right of the house. So they're both upstairs. Okay. Sir? I think that is a PPSH. You will notice that they do have some guns that we don't, and that's okay. I'm not supposed to have the same weapons as them. Far from it, actually. So it looks like this guy is... Oh, okay. So the other guy just despawns. So it says we secured Kozlovka. So what we'll do is we're going to head back to where we parked our vehicle. And this is where you, the player, actually gets to make a decision on how you're going to take the next spot. So, whether you're playing by yourself or with other players, I personally recommend by yourself, although if you want to play with your friends, you can invite them. I will show you how to do that back on the menu. But, if you're playing by yourself, you'll have already gotten this. It wouldn't be secure whenever you spawn. And you'll have the option between... Normally, you would have the option between your Jeep here or the main menu. Well, I don't really have a choice, but I personally recommend the main menu either way. You can just go straight back to FOB, spawn your vehicle, and typically when you finish this, you should have a little bit of money. If you have enough, I recommend going ahead and swapping out for the Wipeout Flash Hider and the M4 Silencer, which is 1,000. So just about 1,000, yeah, about $1,300, maybe 14. If you get that, that'll actually help with your your stealth. Another thing I recommend is changing your handguard, because this thing right here, it's not the worst, but it is kind of annoying to just be there. I personally recommend having the Mark 18 handguard. This is the one I run, or if you wanted the M4A1. Both of these are completely viable options. I personally wouldn't recommend running the SAR. But either way, either one of these on the Mark 18 are completely fine. Just keep in mind that with a longer barrel, it means that you can't fight in closer quarters, which is why I run the Mark 18. But once you do have that, you'll end up with a pretty good starting loadout. You'll have all of this on your primary. Within your first raid, you'll have a Jeep. And the M9 is actually a really good secondary, in my opinion. Although it's not the best, it gets the job done. How to invite friends. If we can load back to the menu, it'd be great. Inviting friends. As you'll see, you'll have all your friends right here. And you'll notice, normally you'll only see the invite button, or if they're in the game, you'll see the invite and the join button. If you have a friend that's still in the main menu, it'll say it. You can click invite. Or say they're already in open world, you can join them. If it says this, that means they're probably in a private server of their own. I hope this video has been helpful, and make sure to join the Discord. We do help new players, and we are also a faction, not official, faction of this game, and do play it very regularly. Until next time, this has been Operator Fluffy. Enjoy.